G'day there guys, look at all these chickens. It's Markee here and welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. Now if you love today's content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, a like on the video, and tell me what you think of it down in the comments. Posted by user throwflag5561. Titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking this girl out of my house after she mistook my UK flag for a Confederate flag? And was planning to get us fired from our jobs. So a bit of background. We're all in our mid-20s and live in the USA. Me and two of my friends rent out a decent-sized house and we had a get-together. My roommate is friends with these two girls, let's call them Kate and Jess, and they invite with them a new friend, call her Ashley. Now, Ashley, when she comes over, I see that she's recording us. I thought she was just posting to her Instagram and Snapchat. I don't pay attention to any of it, really. I notice that she is just videotaping a lot. So I'm like, Kate, can you check on your friend? Like, what's going on? Turns out, she thought that the UK flag that we were hanging in our living room was a Confederate flag, and she was getting evidence against us. When she found out that it wasn't, everyone just acted like it was a huge joke. But I got ticked. Like, for real? You think we're racist? Yet invite you over to our house where you have our hospitality and our food and alcohol. In the meanwhile, you are getting evidence to ruin our livelihoods. I don't want anyone like that in my house at all. So I make a scene and get her to leave. Kate and Jess say that it was just a misunderstanding. I was like, no, there wasn't. It's the principle behind it. Some of our friends have come to Ashley's side, but I don't see how you can support her. It doesn't matter what the outcome of this situation was, if you're a racist or not. These friends are going to be on Ashley's side, because it's either, oh, they are a racist, I knew it, we got you, or, oh, don't worry, Ashley just makes mistakes all the time, she's not a crazy bear, I swear to God, she's not crazy, trust me, she doesn't do this a lot, this is a random occurrence. When people have itchy trigger fingers looking for someone to cancel because they misinterpret things in their house, that's a very dangerous mentality to have, and I don't condone it at all. I'm 100% behind you, OP, as well. Ashley showed disgusting mistrust, and very much showing that she wasn't someone that you need in that household, nor you should surround yourself by. Who knows what kind of accusations Ashley wants to throw around, just to make herself feel better, you know? I'm getting rid of the trash in the world. Oh, it's a UK flag. Disgusting. Get the Brits out of here. No. Stupid mentality by Ashley. I cannot blame you for your actions. I would blow up as well. It's just a no-go to do that. Record my house. What's your problem? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I don't want someone in my house who's secretly recorded me in an effort to ruin my life. You have every right to ban her from your home, even if your roommates don't agree. She's not a safe person to have in your living space. This right here, and applies to any situation. I agree. Doesn't matter what she was recording or how dumb she is. 1. She didn't ask what it was. 2. She's a manipulative monster who wants to destroy people she doesn't know. 3. She clearly thinks it's okay to do this without any further evidence or proof. Drop that trash outside. Like, I'm super curious what other things she was filming that she thought was further proof. Because it sounds like she was taking video for a while. Unless OP had the UK flag and a whole bunch of racist memorabilia, maybe she was waiting for OP to slip up and drop a few N-words, chase a minority around and put on a white sheet. You know, normal stuff, right? Mistaking the flags was the misunderstanding. Recording to ruin someone's life was intentional and not a misunderstanding at all. I have to say, I mistook the flag once. My response was to look at someone and said, "Is that a Confederate flag?" They told me that I was an idiot, and we all moved on. As an Englishman, I am both shocked and appalled that our beautiful flag was mistaken for a Confederate flag. I mean, come on, how stupid do you have to be? Should have just left her to it and watched the fallout of her stupidity. Though, if I was round someone's gaff and they had a St. George's cross hanging on the wall, I'd presume we weren't far off rousing a chorus of Angerland, and a few cans of do as you're told, you know? Posted by user Mum Embarrassment, titled, Am I the a-hole for embarrassing one of the preschool mums? This happened months ago, but I'm still feeling the effects of it. My husband, 29, and I, 26 female, enrolled our daughter, 4, in preschool last year. This was at a period where my husband was struggling with work, and I was working insane hours, so he was the one who always took our kid to preschool. As time went on, he told me a lot of mothers noticed his wedding ring but absence of me, and overheard him saying to our daughter sometimes, "I know you miss Mummy, and she really wishes she could be here." They just assumed that he was a single dad, and even when he corrected them by simply saying he wasn't, they seemed to paint a negative picture of me. Things eventually eased with my job, and I managed to take my daughter to preschool by myself, or sometimes with my husband. He finally found a solid job, so I started taking her by myself more, and the mum started talking to me once the kids were inside. I wanted to try and get along with them, but it was hard from the start. They made comments about my absence, how it looked bad that I couldn't be bothered dropping my kid off until that moment. I realized they had their own clique and were very judgy, and they even started making comments about my marriage. I ignored it, wanting to be civil, and this continued for weeks. Their constant jabs at me wore me down, because they were nothing but nice when their partners appeared, and were little angels when my husband was around. There was one day where one of them said something to me when they thought my husband was listening, and I snapped. The kids were inside at this point, and I just said, I wasn't here because I was busting my ass, working to support me and my own. You spending so much time criticizing me in my life that you can't see how hollow yours are, as you have to find happiness by tearing me down. Ever since that day, I learned that I embarrassed the mum in front of her husband, who realized how bitchy she was. They've left me alone, but they don't let their kids near my daughter outside of preschool. The only kid close to her age is my best friend's nephew, and I feel horrible because the kids aren't at fault. My husband says that may be true, but I would be exposing our kid to the toxic mothers. I'm considering perhaps apologizing, as maybe I was an a-hole, and I don't want my kid to be left out. Am I the a-hole? I don't see how any of this is your fault. You called out them for their crappy behaviors, and now they're upset because they judged you and they wanted to live in that little echo chamber where you're the enemy and your husband is the victim here and you're such a terrible person. Is there such a thing as admitting your mistakes and not continually tearing someone else down when they've proven you incorrect? Like, the double standard here is ridiculous. You can't just continue this lie behind someone's back and then get mad at them when they call you out for it. Just stupid. God, she's such a terrible person. And then she's such a terrible person for proving that she's not a terrible person. God, I hate her. Not the a-hole. You could apologize and give them the moon, and they would still crap on you. Not the a-hole. +1. +2, apologizing in this situation does two things. It emboldens the bullies because they interpret OP's actions as that of weakness. The bullies know their tactics have worked. And 2, exacerbates the OP's daughter's misery. Once the sharks smell blood, they tend to circle prey and fight over who will get the meat. If these catty bitches are as bitchy as claimed, they'll push the limits of sane behavior, teaching their own children to punish OP's child, whether consciously or otherwise, and this poor kid's life is even more of a hell. If it's an option, OP needs to switch daycare providers. Where is the owner and supervisor in all of this? There's absolutely no way they are not aware of what is going on, so if they're not nipping this in the bud, they are condoning it. If the mothers are obnoxious, it's filtering down to their offspring, and typically, people this narcissistic will not employ any type of barriers to avoid exposing their kids to such abhorrent behavior. And let's be honest, they don't see themselves as having a problem in the first place, so why would they? Sadly, you know the children of these britches are likely being just as nasty to the daughter, and especially during times when there's little to no supervision. If switching daycare is not an option, OP does not apologize. Just hold your head up, teach daughter effective coping mechanisms, Bullying can and does happen, so the better she can deal with it, the stronger she'll be as an adult, and do what OP would normally do if this hadn't become an issue. Also, these women will never be friends, and that's okay. OP is only associating with them out of necessity. It's like an annoying coworker or ignorant sister-in-law that you have to put up with out of decency and having a happy life. I'd do nothing more than smile and wave. End of story. Adding that bullying starts at age 4. By bullying, I mean, you can't play with us today because you wore a yellow shirt. My daughter came home from school crying because her friends didn't like her yellow shirt, so she would never wear it again. I think it's natural to some extent for kids at 4 to 5 who start to organize the bigger world to do this, so it's a matter of what the adults in their lives do and say, either nipping it in the bud or condoning it. I would definitely talk to the daycare teacher to make sure that she's aware and protects your kiddo and guides all the kids in a different direction. When I was 4, I got into an argument with my best friend in preschool. By the end of the day, she had made every girl in both classes hate me. Around 25 people, probably? Like, I look back on it and am kind of impressed at the organizational skills she displayed. But the impact of having everyone dislike you, even for such a short period of time, still messes with my head. Sometimes I feel like I'm just waiting for my friends to realize they don't like me. Posted by user BroHubTruth, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law the truth about my brother and my husband? I, 29 female, have a husband named Matt, 32 male, and a brother named Tony, 32 male. Tony has a wife named Anna, 33 female. Tony and I both went to boarding school growing up. I went to an all-girls school, and he went to an all-boys school across the country. Because of the distance, we weren't very close as kids, and I didn't know much about his life back then. When Tony was at boarding school, he met my future husband Matt, and they became best friends. At the time, Tony was dealing with depression about his sexuality, and Matt helped him out of it. Long story short, they ended up falling in love and having a relationship. Once they graduated high school, they broke up and lost touch. I didn't know about any of this at the time. I ended up going to the same university as Matt, which is where I met him. I didn't mention my brother initially because he wasn't really a part of my life, and since Tony and I have different last names, the three of us didn't put the pieces together until a family gathering a year later. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough at first for everyone involved, but eventually we were all able to get past it, and Tony and Matt became best friends again. Matt and I got married 3 years ago. When I met Tony's partner Anna for the first time, I privately asked Tony if he told her about his history with Matt. Tony said it was still a new relationship and he would tell her when they were more serious. Now Tony and Anna are married. Since Tony and Matt are so close, they often go on boys' trips with just the two of them. Haha, Brokeback Mountain, what's going on, buddy? They took one of these trips this past weekend, and everything was going fine until I got a call from Anna asking if I knew where Tony was. Apparently he told her he was going to see our parents, but she called them and he wasn't there. I told her that he was on a trip with Matt. She got upset and asked if there was something going on between them. Thinking she already knew because she and Tony are now married, I told her not to worry because Matt and Tony's romance ended in high school. That's when I found out Tony never told her. Tony was furious at me when he got back because Anna is threatening divorce and I'm tearing up his family because I told her without asking him first. Apparently, Tony didn't tell Anna the truth because he thought that she wouldn't let him see Matt anymore, and now Anna wants him to cut me and Matt out completely. Matt is upset too because he can't see Tony and he's losing his best friend all over again. My brother wants to cut me out of his life, his wife wants a divorce, and my husband is miserable, all because of something I said. I feel so guilty, and can't help but feel as though I messed up. Am I the a-hole? This is all Tony's fault. Everything that's happened is all Tony's fault. He genuinely cannot be mad at you for what he's done here, OP. He deserves all of this fallout, he deserves his wife divorcing him. You might even need to divorce your husband if it comes out that he's cheating on you with your brother. That's not something I'd ever think that I'd be saying, but welcome to 2020. But the more I think about it, it's probably a common occurrence in a lot of relationships. No need for you to be upset about this. This is you just getting some closure, because that is a crap storm and I wouldn't want to be caught in that. I'd have so many turds in my face I wouldn't know how to breathe. God damn, Tony, calm down. OP, not the a-hole. Edit. I really appreciate everyone's comments. Some of them are very hard to read, but I suppose this is a wake-up call that's long overdue. I know it may seem difficult to believe that someone my age can be so naive and clueless, but being rational is something I've always struggled with. I wish it were fake. I'm realizing that this is most likely far worse than I thought it was. I won't be able to respond to individual comments for a bit, but I am reading all of them in the meantime, and will post an update when I can. Edit 2. I've seen a lot of comments asking why I didn't say anything about the trip sooner, and what I thought they were doing. So I'll just answer here for the sake of convenience. My brother has been struggling with pretty severe depression for the past few years. Because of this, he doesn't go out much or have many friends. My husband is his only close friend, and the only one Tony will open up to, because my husband helped him through depression when they were younger. The outings with Matt are one of the few things that make my brother happy. Matt has always told me that they do regular things like play video games and watch movies and go biking, so I didn't think too much into it. Even with Matt being Tony's ex, I thought it was more like Matt was helping his friend through a tough time. I see now how stupid I was to assume that, but that was my thought process. Edit 3. Please don't let this post be a justification for homo and biphobia. Whatever happens with my brother and my husband isn't reflective of gay and bi people as a whole. And Edit 4. Wow. I stepped away for a bit, and there are a ton of comments. I won't be able to respond individually, as there's a lot going on right now, clearly. But I'll still be reading. Before I sign off, I have a couple quick updates. Matt agreed to tell me everything after I've given him some time and space to process all of this. As much as I, and probably you all, want answers now, that's what I'll be doing. Still no word from brother or sister-in-law. I'm gonna give it a rest for the day and try to focus on something that doesn't terrify me. I will be back with a separate update post when things make more sense. Thank you all. Also, I have seen Brokeback Mountain. Evidently, it's a lot more fun on screen than it is in real life. I guess expect to read this story again when I do another update post video, so I'm looking forward to see what happens here. Posted by user, This Life is Out of Stock. Titled, Am I the a-hole for discussing weight loss with my 14-year-old stepdaughter? I have a stepdaughter, 14 female, who recently started high school. In recent years, she's been gaining considerable weight to the point that she's now at a BMI of 28.5, using a calculator appropriate for her age, not the adult version. She's also got stretch marks that are getting worse and really bad acne. I know why she's been gaining weight. She's pretty much stopped growing, her mother is very short, and it seems she's going to be short too. And at her mother's house, she pretty much only eats junk food, drinks a lot of calorie-heavy beverages, and eats a lot of candy. Also, her mother, who is incredibly overweight herself, and clocks in it well into the extreme obesity category, fixes her plate for her and mandates that she eats every single bite that gets put onto her plate, even if she's not hungry anymore. Now, I'm fine with my stepdaughter's body looking however she feels comfortable with. She doesn't need to be Miss Skinny to make me happy. But she recently came to me and expressed worried that she's going to be bullied in high school over her weight issues, and expressed concern over how quickly clothes don't fit her anymore, even though she's not getting taller, etc., etc. In response, I had a frank discussion with her about food, eating too much, exercise, etc. I advised her about healthy food, showed her how quickly calories from sugary drinks can add up, discussed that while eating dessert is fine, maybe you don't need to eat 2 to 3 portions of it just because it's available and allowed. I discussed moving and exercising more, and talk to her about how she might approach telling her mother that she's full instead of stuffing herself to finish the food that got put on her plate. As a result, she switched to mostly drinking water, cut down on desserts at our house and at her mum's, and started walking and riding her bike more. She's asked me many follow-up questions about which foods are healthy and which are not, and I answer her questions while emphasizing that she can eat anything she wants as long as she's moderate about eating things not so healthy. I just got a call from her mother, totally freaked out, because apparently I'm a giant a-hole discussing diet with a 14-year-old girl. She said that I'm going to give her an eating disorder and her weight is not her fault at all. It's all purely genetic and nothing can be done about it with diet and exercise. She said that 14 is far too young to have discussions about weight and diet, and that when teenagers get told about weight management, it will inevitably lead to eating disorders and low self-esteem issues. While I obviously don't agree about the "it's all genetic" part, the accusation that I might have given her an eating disorder did give me pause. I certainly don't want to push her to be a young woman obsessed with unhealthy and unrealistic beauty standards, or make her feel in any way that her body is a problem or she's not good enough. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for discussing diets and exercise with a 14-year-old girl? In this situation, no. She needs the help, she's taking the help to heart, she's actioning those words, and she's making positive changes in her life. The mother is realizing she's losing grip on her child, she's losing the ability to dig her child an early grave, and she's upset that she's no longer having control in her life. The mother is obviously mentally ill and allowing her own eating disorder to take a hold of every facet of her life, and that's not okay. If it were me, I would be calling CPS at every opportunity that I could to report that, hey, this kid is struggling. We need to get this kid off of that mother. She is going to kill this 14-year-old girl. It's not okay, and OP, you are not the a-hole. You didn't talk about weight. You talked about healthy lifestyle choices at your stepdaughter's request, and you went out of your way to emphasize that it's okay not to be perfect as long as she's making an effort. It sounds like mum is feeling called out over her own choices and scared her daughter's success is going to force her to confront the fact that they are really excuses. There's a huge difference between counting every calorie and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I was 16 before I realized just how useless soda is. Tons of calories, but doesn't do anything to make you feel full or to hydrate you. I stopped drinking soda daily and started drinking water and unsweetened iced teas. And as a result, I stopped getting cavities and started slowly losing weight without even meaning to. I still drink a soda occasionally when the mood hits, but I'm so much more conscious about it. I think if you told her stop eating desserts completely, or do intense workouts every day, or you're overweight, you would have been the a-hole and likely have given her an eating disorder. But she explicitly asked you and has made changes that could easily make her life a healthier life long past high school. Oh man, I remember when I gave up soda at 14, barring no other changes to my diet or lifestyle, and dropped 15 pounds like that. My mum was like, "Are you okay?" Before she realized I was eating the exact same as before, just water instead of soda. Posted by user Kara Raya, titled, Am I the a-hole for pointing out a girl's acne scars after she repeatedly tried to sell us her MLM products? A girl, 19 female, I graduated with, joined a makeup and skincare related MLM group a couple of months ago. At first it was pretty low-key, a couple of products posts here and there, but that was it. Then she got heavily involved in her upline's Boss Babe group, and since then, my former classmate has become awful. She constantly spams her social media feeds and stories with pictures of the products, claiming things these products can do that are blatant lies. Then she often posts these inspirational talks in which she tries to recruit her followers by filming herself, saying how unhappy she was working as a waitress, how happy she is selling MLM products, and that we can also quit our menial jobs, her words, and start working in her team. She also got caught lying about how much money she makes, and she often tries to sell her products to her little sister's minor friends. A big part of this certain MLM scheme is that the sellers offer free skincare consultations via Zoom, where they basically try to sell you their products. My former classmate does that too, and often texts random people to see if they want one of those skincare consultations with her. She specifically targets people with bad skin. One of those people with bad skin is one of my closest friends, Emma, 19 female. Emma has had bad acne since she was 10 years old, and she still has bad acne and acne scars. It's one of her worst insecurities. When the former classmate texted Emma to try to convince her to book one of those skincare consultations with her, the classmate basically texted Emma that she knows how Emma is struggling with acne and that she has just the right products for Emma. Emma declined and told her that she wasn't interested in a consultation. Then the MLM girl got her friends who support her MLM business to text Emma to try to convince her and tell her how amazing these products are. Emma declined again, and she told me how awful she feels because she knows how visible her acne scars are if so many people are pointing them out. It all came to a head yesterday. Emma and I went to a restaurant, and our MLM classmate was also there. At one point during the evening, the MLM girl came over and started talking to Emma about her acne and how her products can help her. Emma repeatedly told the MLM girl she wasn't interested, but she wouldn't go away. Now, this is where I might be the a-hole. At some point, I just snapped and asked the MLM girl if she doesn't use her own products or if her products are just useless because she also had visible acne scars. The MLM girl looked shocked and hurt, but she finally went away. Emma thanked me for speaking up, but also told me that I didn't have to snap that hard at her. So, am I the a-hole for snapping at the MLM girl after she didn't go away? Look, sometimes these hashtag boss babes just need a little healthy dose of humble pie, and yelling at them, do it. I guess just make a scene, get them to go away, get them to leave you alone. Because they're just snake oil salesmen at the end of the day. It's obvious the product doesn't work. She's just trying to scam you out of money, and she's gaslighting, harassing, bullying, doing whatever will work to separate you from your hard-earned money. Don't fall for their tricks, yell at them if need be, do whatever you want within legal limits. Not the a-hole. Can't believe I'm saying this, as I predicted the opposite based on the title, but not the a-hole. MLM girl crossed multiple lines, and in the end, it was your only dose of harsh medicine that stopped her from further harming your friend. Honestly, I'm angered just reading the nasty, aggressive tactics that MLM girl stooped to in the attempt to make a buck. Where does she get off? As though a 19-year-old cosmetic salesperson has any worthwhile advice to give about this issue. What ticked me off the most is when she approached her at the restaurant. She didn't go there to be sold some crappy product. Just leave her the hell alone. Not the a-hole. I would usually never endorse anything of the sort, but it looks like you only did it as a last resort to stop repeated harassment of your friend, and you still feel terrible about it. No should mean no to any kind of pressure. Hope Emma is okay, and I hope the MLM lady sees what kind of monster her pyramid scheme is turning her into. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enabled me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, It is what it is. Anyway, guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.